Okay, so we're gonna try something new for the beginning of this episode. We're gonna have a little interview, a little Q&A, and I'll be the answerer, and the questioner today is our friend Shame. You know, the Shame Wizard, you know, in one of those shows. If you imagine embodying like your emotions having a separation from you, that's what we're gonna do. And so I'm gonna be interviewed by all my intrusive thoughts, I've heard it called too. Another great, we'll call it Shame for short. Hey Shame, thanks for coming, and thanks for asking me some hard-hitting questions. Oh yes, thank you for some time in the spotlight. Here we go. Yes, I have to use your voice because I'm inside you. So, here we go. Well, Mark, what do you think about how you spend your time? Let's just start there and see where we go. Oh, well, thank you. Great question. Well, you know, I think what I'm doing is a good way to spend time. Trying to, you know, improve on things. It's a noble pursuit, perhaps. Oh, well, you think so, but are you really getting anywhere or doing anything, say, of importance or value? Well, these are questions, yes. Yeah, you know, there's value. Value could be found in ways other than success. And I'm not saying I'm failing, but I mean, to try is to succeed. And before I went on this drive, I was going to look up that quote from Aragorn. You know, he's like, it's better to start something than, even if there's no hope. You know, you get the idea. Aragorn is just like, we push forward no matter what, even if it's all crazy and meaningless. Oh, let me turn off the radio. Holy smokes. Wow, you know, you don't need to post this, right? This is just to try. And to have the camera on, it helps. So, shame question number 2. Oh, well, I see that you can find some meaning in what you're doing, even though you're doing you have yet to improve your skills in a meaningful way. In any way that will get you to be a master or a grandmaster. Yes, thank you, Shame. I do see that perhaps I am too old to become anything in the chess community other than a guy at 1200 or 1100. You know, but that will only be seen through time. Oh, yes, thank you. Good, yes, time will tell, certainly. Yes, Mark. But what about these videos now? Do you really think that anyone wants to watch you talk to yourself or to your emotions, or to see you try to talk about chess even though you're not a professional chess player by any means? Oh, hard-hitting question. Yes, you're right. Thank you for those points. Great question. Well, you see, I think that though these videos are kind of slow or a bit tedious at times, you know, there's points where editing could improve them. But one day, perhaps, I'll go through my collected works and take little snippets of all the best parts of these videos. This will be like the director's cut or something. You know, when you have it all, you get it all. Right now, everyone's just getting everything. But one day, it'll be like, oh, I'm just going to put out a compilation of all the best moments. And then that might have some traction. And, you know, I know what you're going to ask, Shame. You're going to be like, you don't have any views on anything you've put out yet. So what's what's the point? Well, see, thank you. Yes, I asked that one, but I'm now answering it as well. Have I gone insane? Sorry, I just thought about that for 1 second. I got distracted. No, I'm just communicating with my emotions. Shame, you see, has been bothering me, or he's been with me. Yeah, he's sort of there. It's never enough to get full attention, but now doing this, he's up at the forefront so that we can just get these so-called demons out of the way. Get them. We say, thank you, Shame. I understand that you're trying to protect me from doing dumb things, or, just making me aware of all potential problems with anything. Can be crippling at times. Sometimes shame goes a bit too far, but it's only because we push shame down and try to ignore it. I think what we have to say is thank you. Thank you, Shame. I understand you're here to help. And I'm not going to hate you for that, because that only adds an extra layer. It takes another thought block in my mind, and I need all my thought blocks for chess. Today, at least, is the first day of a tournament. It's going to be big. Listen to me ramble. Listen to how wild and how multi-directional my thoughts are. And just wait till we get out of the game and we're going to see the difference. Man, it's going to be great. I feel good. Felt bad for a long time. But what's made me feel better is confronting the fact that, yes, I have nothing to show other than a bunch of recorded videos. Which one day I will have them be popular by, I have to tell people about the videos. I need to add hashtag chess and hashtag all the good things. I have to put myself out there. That's a whole department that I'll get to once I am better at chess. That's the goal anyway. I'll stay deep underground, available to those who can find it. But then, after I get to something that I'm really proud of, like the ability, let's see, today my goal, as well as to do good in the chess game, my goal will be to remember and discuss the chess game with you guys without the board, right? It's all about doing it blind. You lot will have to get good with the coordinates, the visualization training. I'm still doing it, and that's why we had to talk to Shame today, because Shame has been saying, Mark, videos of yourself saying the 64 squares, regardless of how fast you're doing it, is that really a video? Are you really giving anything to anyone, even yourself, when you record? But yes, I am. At some point, to some small degree, someone other than myself, perhaps, even if it's 1 out of 1,000. And that's the thing, I can't say that people don't like it if they haven't even found it. If you have no views on the video, it's not because the video is bad. It means that no one's found it. So you get that one big blow-up video. I think this is how it works. You find one good one, and then people are like, hey, that guy was cool. Or you advertise one. You're like, well, that was fun to watch. I'm glad that guy showed me that one. Now I'm going to look at the rest of them. I'm going to watch his dark face in the pitch of night and watch him ramble on about random. Just watch him struggle. That's what I almost called the podcast. Watch me struggle. That's an apt, very good summation. Because we got those strugs. We got mad strugs. but that's okay. The struggle is real, and that's what makes it fun. You know, a little bit of interest, a little bit of something. You guys could place bets. Is this going to amount to anything? Or maybe you're watching this when I've got myself to 2,000 ELO or whatever board rating. Yeah, once I'm good at chess, you guys will be watching these and be like, oh, I want to see where he started. And you'll go back and be like, oh, God. What is this? What is this malarkey? What is this nonsense? This guy became good at chess? What? Yeah, I know. I can dream, right? Yes, I suppose I can. So thank you, Shame. Thank you for warning me of all the things that I know to be there, but you've given them emphasis, you've shown me the dangers, and yet I feel still good, I think. Better now that I've said it out loud. So now, here, since I've already rambled for 11 minutes, let's get to what we're all hungering for. And that's me saying all the squares as fast as I can. And I think maybe this will be one of the things I can make a montage of. How from going from not being able to say the first two lines of the dark squares to what I can do now, to what I can do in a month from now, should I continue this training, right? Oh my gosh, the potential. You can't that's the thing. I'm making this for the overall body of work. We'll have good parts in it. That's all I can hope for. And I appreciate anyone who sits through all this. Because, yeah. Okay, so let's get going. So, Chess Visualization, Episode 3, preparing for the first tournament game of 2024. Here we go. How many dark squares are there? 32. Next question. Can you say them all in an order of your choosing? Yes, I can. I choose to say them in first from A1. Okay, what time is it? 11:24? 11:30? Okay, here we go. A1, C1, E1, G1, B2, D2, F2, H2, A3, C3, E3, G3, B4, D4, F4, H4, A5, C5, E5, G5, B6, D6, F6, H6, A7, C7, E7, G7, B8, D8, F8, H8. Wow, that was fast. Yeah, look at that. Under 30 seconds. My goodness. Wow. Okay, I don't need to do it again with white or anything. I've proven. I still had to think about things because, I'm also thinking about other things. I don't want to make excuses. You should be able to say them as fast as you want. But I said them faster this time than I did last time. So that must mean a marked improvement. Oh, that's good. Okay. Now, but here's what I've been working on. Oh yeah, Shame had another question. Shame interjects. Mark, one sec. How do you feel about the fact that you don't spend any time doing any actual chess training, and the people that are good spend many, many hours with trainers, and they have a regiment of things that they do, and they, you can't possibly hope to do any of the things. Your budget is none for you have the time you drive around to think about chess, and that's it, unless you force it. So what do you think you're doing? Oh, thank you, Shame. Yes, that's a good point. I can't hope to be Grandmaster, Super Grandmaster, Masters even. I can't imagine becoming any of those things. So why? Well, it's self-improvement, right? I can be better than I was 5 minutes ago, right? Naruto's taught me that. You can be good. You can make yourself better, and you can't. Even though chess is very much who's better than who, game, very much so. It's all like, oh, look, at my number is this, and your number is that, and it's look at that, look at me versus you, but that's not. It should be a personal journey, and you should enjoy it. That's the whole point. I enjoy it. Number one, it's to be enjoyed, and it's to be a great thing to keep your mind sharp and have fun in the process. So the fact that I ambitiously strive and obsessively think about it while doing nothing about it, that's these are things it's all part of the process. At least for me. And that's okay, so that's great. Thank you, Shane, for adding that in, and we've answered it by saying we're good regardless. I don't care. Doesn't matter. So there. We are what we are. And do your best and forget the rest. Marshall said that. So listen to these diagonals. I don't even know where to start. Okay, here's one I was doing. Here's an actual training tip. I'll say in the notes, you can skip right to this moment and forget about the first 16 minutes. Watch these diagonals. Here's what I was doing. I would take a breath and I would try to say diagonals as many times as I could before the breath was done. And that was a way to keep a very monotonous task interesting, is by adding a layer of time and challenge into it, aside from just trying to do the thing. You need layers. You need, entertainment value. So, in one breath, how many times can I say the C1 H6 diagonal, which goes from H6 over to F8, which comes back down to A3, which goes back to C1. You see, I make a little circle. Okay, you ready? Here we go. C1, D2, E3, F4, G5, H6, G7, F8, E7, D6, C5, B4, A3, B2, C1, sorry, C1, D2. Okay, let's say we did it in one breath there. All right, one more time. Hello, I played my game. Wow, what a game. What a game. I am rated right now 1176, and I just played someone 1787. 600 points higher than me, and I knew that right out the gate. I saw you write down the stuff before you start, and wow, I made it to the end game. That's all I can say. I made a bad choice. Well, I mean, just one. The game was crazy. I have to say that I played surprisingly well. It took a while for my brain to pay attention properly. I don't know, man, it's hard to focus. It's hard to constantly calculate. That's what I should say. It's hard to constantly calculate. Anyway, listen to this. I was black. He went E4. I went D6, the perk defense, or King's Indian, right? He went C4. You got E4 and C4 out, and I have D6. I go knight F6. He goes knight C3. And I go G6. Why do I go G6? Oh, because I'm doing the King's Indian. Do you not know the King's Indian? Oh, it's something like, well, it's perk if you start with D6, I think. So it's D6, knight F6, G6, bishop G7. Fianchet that bishop over on the side. And Okay, so, and he's taking the center, so he's gone e4, I've gone d6, he went c4, I went knight f6, he goes knight c3, I go g6, he goes d4, I'm like, oh yeah, bishop g7, and he says, yeah, well, knight f6, and I say, bishop g4, right? Yeah. Why not pin that knight on f3? Oh shoot! Did I write c3 instead of? Oh, I wrote that he went knight f6. That's not right. He went knight f3. Knight f3. I'm still getting my coordinates wrong. Can you believe? I'm still getting coordinates wrong. I'm still looking at them like, huh? And that's all I've been thinking about. That's all I've been training. But anyway, so he went knight f3. And I say knight c6. And then he goes bishop e2. Oh man, I can't see it anymore. I lost it in my mind. And now I can't do this without the board. You know, really see if I could just discuss with you guys. But I need the board. And I'm not at home. I'm in my car. I'm not driving. That's nice. I'm just sitting here. And I still can't do it. Anyway, there was a point this time. There was a point where I chose a lesser, and that's a lesser trade. I took with the bishop. I took a knight with my rook. And that's the only thing he asked about at the end of the game. He's like, why'd you do that? I'm like, well, he had all his pieces coming out. Yeah, he had space. I had none. King's Indian. That's how it goes, you know. So I was feeling the pressure of limited options, and I was like, well, if I take that, then I get this pawn. And I thought maybe I get some play that way, and it was interesting. It was interesting. And then his queen comes down. Oh, his queen comes down. Oh, I would tell you guys if I could see it in my mind. Oh, he came down. The queen came down, and I was like, whatever, I'll just protect the pawn that he's threatening. And then he just eats this rook. He eats this knight for free. Blunder. It was a one-move blunder. Can you imagine? Wow. I'm a professional here, and I'm just letting pieces fly. But on the however side, it wasn't a blunder. It just looked like a blunder. And this is why nothing matters, my friends, because you can play an 1800 and then pretend like you're blundering a knight, and then you can trap that queen. You can trap that queen. Oh, I'm gonna show you. Well, it should be playing now. I'm gonna add, I'm gonna put it in the computer and you're gonna see it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna box your queen in. Now you're trapped. But he wasn't trapped, of course. You pull away. He got the bishop down. He threatened my queen, which was defending my rook and the pawn. It's defending this pawn, which was his essential escape square. So I got to eat his bishop for free. But then he got to eat my pawn. It was crazy. Man, I bet he didn't see that coming. I said my tactics puzzles, my puzzles are paying off. At least being able to see tactics when they come up. Setting them up, that's something for openings and whatever to discuss. But at least when something does come up, I'm like, oh, opportunities here and there. And then he threatened my queen with a rook. My queen was in the corner, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna make you move your queen. But instead I was like, no, I'm gonna move this knight first. I'm gonna eat a pawn of yours and threaten your queen while mine is there being stared at. Now he has to choose what to do, and then he moved his queen, and oh man, I did some cool stuff. Chess is cool. It's hard. It's hard-ish. It's as hard as you make it. You can be chill. You can be cool as a cucumber. And it all depends on what you already know. You can decide, oh, I have to win this game, and stress yourself out to no ends. To no end. Make your brain, you just set it on fire. But you don't have to. If you know what you're doing, it'll come to you. If you've practiced, if you've seen types of positions like these before, things will pop up. You'll catch things. Or you won't. And that's it. So anyway, my intentional, everything, all pieces were even, material-wise. I was up pawns for a while. And what it came down to was this endgame, of course, endgame. But I mean, a losing endgame. It's not because I didn't know endgames, okay? It's just that it was a losing endgame because he had a rook and I had a knight. And he had some passed pawns. And then he did some stuff. I didn't do the best moves at the end, but knowing that it's lost already, it's sort of... You see, I could have tried for a draw. That's the thing. But so he ended up getting to take... He used push his pawns, and then he set up a fork where he was going to check. This is when I gave up. At the end, I resigned. Oh, man. Fun. I made him sweat, I hope. At least a little bit for a while. The difference in our clock times, I'm very proud of myself to say that I was like way down on time compared to his. And that just means I was learning to take my time, the appropriate amount of time that I need. No matter how bored or tired my friend is, my opponent, I gotta take my time. I gotta take the time it takes to see what's going on. The time is yours. Your clock, your half of the clock, that's yours. You get to do whatever you want with it. You could sit there. Oh, I mean, it's not very nice, I don't think, to just sit there forever on a dead position. So anyway, it was a good game. It was a good game. It was fun. I at least had hope. I kept on going from like no hope from the beginning to like, oh, I think I trapped his queen. Oh, I didn't trap his queen. But I got that piece. And I'm doing cool stuff. And I have this potential check. I had my knight sitting on... Oh man, my coordinates training is for nothing. I don't see any of it in my mind right now. Am I just burned out? No, because I've only been practicing looking at a blank canvas. I can say the names of squares without any pieces on them. But pieces, it's like, where the heck was that piece? I don't know. I haven't done knights yet. If I've done knights, I could say, oh yes. Okay, listen. King was castled, so that means he was over there on G1, right? So if I was saying that I could capture that king, or I could check that king anytime I wanted from the side, that must mean I was looking at the square E2. E2 G1, yeah, that makes sense. And if I was looking at E2 from way yonder off the side, that means I was over on B3? D3? No, E? C. C3. C3, E2, G1. Wow. Terrible. It shouldn't be that hard. So I'm going to fix that. I've done my diagonals. I've done my just saying the squares. Dark squares and light squares. I'm working on diagonals. Now knights are coming in. Episode 4 of visualization training. That's when they're going to come back in. Man, good game. Eventually, you guys will get to see actual game. You know, I'll get to review a game. That's obviously what I need the most. I shouldn't be making choices like, oh, trade a rook for a knight because I had no better options. There probably was better options. And now I got to figure out what those are so I don't go back into that same position ever again. If I'm going to play the King's Indian as if it's like a scapegoat for not having to learn technical or complicated things, just be able to do the same bunch of moves a little bit, then I got to know the ins and outs of it, right? You got to at least know, oh man, openings and end games and blah, blah, blah. Jeez, right? I don't know. Tactics puzzles made the game interesting. At least the middle game was like, oh, there's all sorts of ways that this could go. Man, nothing matters. Nothing matters. At 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're losing a knight, the next you're trapping the queen. And I was like, oh, I wish could say that I did that on purpose. And I didn't gain it. I didn't actually get the queen. Maybe he saw that. He probably didn't. He probably was quite shocked when I brought that bishop back, and I was like, nope, you're boxed in. It took him a bit, but then he found he knows his tactics too. 1800. I just played in 1800. This is crazy. It was fun. Okay, I got nothing to say. I'm not talking about anything. What you guys need is to see me do this on the screen, or with like little arrows and crap like that. So, whatever. Okay, one day I'll do it properly, and you guys will be like, oh yeah, remember when you did the first 20 episodes just in your car without a board? Silly. Okay, so yeah.